That's absolutely correct. But now, imagine in a situation like this, as you mentioned, we are going into the meeting room. Okay. But what happens is that once we start with the conversation, we kind of delay such kind of a conversation. Many leaders, we delay the difficult conversations, hoping the issue will resolve itself. So sometimes
Right.
what happens is, let me not speak today, let me speak tomorrow. Maybe something else will happen, somebody else will speak. So, what's the real cost of avoiding these conversations for the leader and for the team? What do you think is going to happen?
See, first of all, as a person, right, leader to comes much later.
Okay.
As a person, uh, are you aware why this conversation is important, or is it really important? Okay, or are you assuming that this is an important conversation? That's one. Two, if you realize it's an important conversation, the result of delaying it is obvious.
Why are we talking? Correct.
Right? So most of the time it's the self-awareness. Do leaders prioritize conversations is the first question I'd like to ask, because a lot of times they don't. And unfortunately in corporate, Archana, most important conversations have been made into events. Feedback is an event. They wait for a monthly one-to-one. Worse, some organizations, they wait till appraisals to actually tell the fellow that this is where you've been wrong. This is a noble profession. So is leadership. Leadership is not a position or authority. It comes from a place of service, which means just for a few additional bucks in my salary, I have to willingly sacrifice my time with my family, right? I'm now responsible for 10 other careers. It's a huge responsibility. Now, most leaders get so carried away in their SLAs, in their targets, in whatever their bosses are kind of chasing them for, that they forget the primary objective of a leader, which is to be in service of their people, to empower their people. Now, when I start thinking this way, I'm already feeling stupid for delaying that conversation, because it goes against the very purpose of why I chose to be a leader. Right? So for me, it's more self-awareness first to say, is this important? If it is, then see, I usually talk about feedback, conversations as a matter of a gift, right? If you really care for your people that you claim that you do, are you setting them up for success, or are you waiting them to fail so that you can tell them that they've failed? Most leaders don't get the respect. If you look at anybody outside, see, I usually even tell HRs this, right? If you want to really know the culture in your organization, don't do a survey inside the office. Make one person stand outside the tea stall, in the office. In 5 to 10 minutes, you will know what the hell is actually happening inside, because people are too scared to say this in the office, but they'll come out with their colleagues in that tea stall and they are all about how terrible the environment inside that building is.
Correct.
So, are you setting up your people for success, or are you waiting for them to fail? Because if you're setting them, it's like a kid, right? You see your kid is playing on the sofa and you get a sense that the kid may fall if they're jumping like this. They haven't fallen yet. You just get a sense that this kid may fall. What happens to you in your head? The impulsive reaction is to shout, to go, either take them away from the sofa or hold them, right? You don't, as a parent, wait for them to fall and say, now you realize. Now, that is sadism. And that's what most leaders do. They wait for people to fail,
Yes.
because they've made these important conversations events in their life.
Correct.
Something that you've done 15 days ago, I'm now discussing this in my one-to-one.
Correct.
Had you really cared for that guy's growth, then you set them up for success, which means all I have to do is just give a nudge and say, hey, watch it, man. It hasn't become an issue yet, but do you care enough to go nudge to say, like that kid falling, are you setting them up for success? So I think, sorry for the long response to a very simple
No,
question,
it's
but I
absolutely
think,
right. I totally understand.
right. So it is important that first leaders are self-aware of the criticality of that conversation. Our elders have already said this, right? A stitch in time saves 9. And I think that holds good even for difficult conversations. So What's the benefit and disadvantages? It's all in the leader's head. But from an academic perspective, when you don't have the conversations on time, you delay, and you whatever you're not addressing, you're allowing,
Correct.
which means that person continues to do the same thing. Your clients are impacted, you're impacted, your credibility as a leader is impacted, and that person's will to be
Hmm.
open and honest and discuss their challenges with you gets impacted,
That's true.
right? And when you do have conversations on time, exactly the opposite of this happens. So it's as simple as that.